Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. This week we are reading from Parshat Chaye Sarah. It's also the Shabbat in which we honor our veterans. So I'd like to tell you the story of one of our veterans, Edward Rosewater. Edward Rosewater was a telegraph operator. He was working for a company called Southwestern Telegraph, which was eventually absorbed into Western Union. But when he was working as a young person, a recent graduate of college in the early 1860s, he was in Alabama, and the Civil War broke out. When the Civil War broke out, he was caught in the South, a northerner from Ohio, in Alabama. We have his diary. He corresponded with his father. His father was worried about his traveling back to the North and told him to remain in Alabama. He was forcibly joined to the Confederate Army, or he joined the Confederate Army and he worked as a telegraph operator, a highly successful telegraph operator. In fact, President Davis wrote a very famous speech in which he said the South was going to attack the North. He said, "We will carry the torch and the sword into northern cities." And it was Edward Rosewater who telegraphed that speech nationwide so the world would learn of it. He fought for the South. Being a telegraph operator, being a telegraph person was very dangerous because he wasn't the person in the station typing out the telegram. He was out stringing the lines, and it was isolating. You were doing it without a gun, and it was very risky behavior. And then the Union Army attacked the South. It went to Nashville, where Rosewater was stationed. In fact, it was Kathy's great-grandfather's unit that liberated Nashville. So at this time, Rosewater was able to leave the Southern Army. He went home for a while to the North, and then he re-enlisted, this time for the North. And he enlisted as a telegraph operator for the unit army of General John Pope. He served very successfully for John Pope and eventually made his way to the White House Telegraph Office. And there, on January 1st, 1863, it was our veteran, Edward Rosewater, who telegraphed to the entire United States Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Here we have the story of a young man who successfully fought for the Confederate Army and for the Union Army and did some very dangerous work and was very successful as a soldier. So let's just think about this for a moment in terms of American history, American Jewish history, and what we have learned. There are several things to take note of. Number one, although today we are celebrating probably mostly Vietnam veterans and Korean War veterans, the history of Jews serving in the United States military goes back a long way. There's certainly a lot to celebrate about Civil War veterans, including Kathy's great-grandfather, but it goes back to the American Revolution. What are we to note about Jews serving in the army and being veterans? It is a sign of success. It is a sign of integration of American Jews into American society. Number three, we can note with pride, the Jews served bravely, did some very dangerous work, and did not shrink from being involved at the highest risk levels. So not only were American Jews in military units for a long time, and as a sign of success, they also fought bravely and courageously. It's important to note, I think, that going back to the Civil War, the Jews served on both sides, the northern side and the southern side. Today, as we mark Veterans Shabbat, let us note with pride and thank all those who have served our country, Jews and non-Jews. Thank you for your service.